Hey, what's going? Back at it again. Another Fiat Farm blog, and DoorDash is turning on the money printer right now. So, despite it being a weekday, they are just throwing cash at me. So, I really just wanted to record this video while there's still a bit of a... while it's still bright enough outside where you can actually see me. But this should be pretty short. I was on Twitch earlier today for the first time. I might share that at some point, but still kind of learning the ins and outs of that. But once I can get that down, I think we'll start doing Fiat Farm streams as well as Fiat Farm vlogs. But topic of the day, who is going to be most impacted by the issues that we're facing in today's economy? So I'm going to go ahead and break that down for you from my perspective. Now, I'm not an expert, not a financier or an economist, but this is just me speaking from my personal insights. So we're going to start with who is the most protected in this environment, and we'll go all the way down to who gets the short end of the stick, you know? So starting at the very top, who is going to be the most protected with the issues that we're facing in our current economy? Ding, 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 ding. You guessed it. It's going to be banks and institutions. So large-scale corporations or individuals holding billions of dollars in either equities or assets, especially banks and institutions who are awfully close to the money printer. You guys are doing great. You guys are doing phenomenal even. If you're anywhere near or within proximity of the money printer, you're gonna do fabulous. They're about to turn that thing on and you are just gonna be printing all day, every day. You can go do whatever you want. You will probably be able to finance an entire nation if you want to. And you're gonna do fine. You honestly have nothing to lose from inflation and the economy being where it's at right now. Like, sure, you know, you might have some issues with HR and payroll and, you know, keeping your employees afloat, but in terms of your actual like wealth, you are probably going to see it explode dramatically with all the investments going into AI infrastructure, data center infrastructure, blockchain infrastructure, and basically the emergence of new technologies and sectors for demand. So banks, institutions, major corporations, you guys are doing fabulous. Now, kind of dropping down from that, who's going to be the next most protected class of people? And it's going to be wealthy individuals and billionaires and people that have direct access to the money printer, or people who are politically protected. So think politicians, think extremely rich CEOs, think hedge fund managers and real estate tycoons, business tycoons, people like that. If you're an individual and you own multiple businesses and you have a great line of credit from many institutions, you're gonna do fabulous. You are protected, you know, for the next foreseeable future. You will be able to live off of the interest of your investments basically indefinitely, forever and ever. You can go travel the world, you can do whatever you want, you can go finance a war in some country if you want to. What do you have to lose? You might see like a little bit of issues with some of the businesses that you run. So again, it's going to fall back to your employee base. You might see a lot of employee dissatisfaction, and you might also see some issues relating to like production and the actual margin, the profit margins that your businesses are running. But that's going to be vastly overshadowed by the interest that you're collecting off of your investments and the appreciation of those same investments that you have. So end of the day, your investments are going to end up overshadowing any complications that the economy may put onto your business. Now, the businesses that you have may struggle, and they may have to they may have to get fucked a little bit from like any issues with global trade or logistics, or just things that might be impacted from, you know, different consumers and suppliers from around the world. But you know, you're doing fine personally. That's more for your employees to worry about, or the people who are actually managing your business on the ground level, the front lines. I think your managers and directors and whatever, the people who actually have to make your ship sail. Dropping down from that, so you talked about the CEOs, we talked about the politicians, who are the next most protected class of people, and you'll actually find that we start getting into the territory of you're actually starting to get fucked. So we're gonna take a look at the upper class, just the general upper class. Think rich people, people that have like a net worth above like think like multi-millionaires, not quite like insanely like ridiculously like filthy rich, but think like relatively rich people, you know, people that have worked very hard to attain their wealth over the course of their life, or they inherited a large amount of that wealth and it has been preserved. So I would say people that have like around a net worth of like $15 million or less. Well, we'll say like we'll play between the range of like 5.5 million and like $15 million. You guys are doing fine, like in the greater overall scheme of things. Your investments are going to protect you, hopefully. So if you have a lot of real estate properties, if you have a lot of equities, if you have a lot of assets that are under you, you should be doing fine. But what you will notice is that the upkeep for some of your investments is probably going to soar. So think property taxes, think taxes in general, think the utility fees for a lot of your properties. If you do run and manage businesses actively, you should expect for those profit margins to dramatically decrease if you're not making full use of AI. So if you're not doing mass layoffs or participating in firing your employees so you can cut down on labor expenses, so you can invest that money into autonomous AI or AGI products, then yeah, you will notice that you have a lot of you will have a lot of issues on the operational side of things. So just trying to keep your business afloat is probably going to be a lot more expensive. So your expenses are going to soar. Overall, you will be doing fine, but you will have to find ways to ensure that you are outpacing the issues that you're facing. So you might have to start working a bit harder than you wanted to, and you know, I'm not gonna say like it's gonna suck or anything, or that you're gonna be like in a bad spot. I don't think that's what's gonna happen at all, but I do think that it's very likely that I don't think I can park here. Can I park here? I mean, this guy's parked here and he's not going anywhere, and the person behind me hasn't quite figured that out. So yeah, I don't think I can park here. I really don't think I can park here. I'm not gonna park here. I want to park here, but it's gonna cause some other people some issues, and I don't really want to do that. So I'll just go park somewhere else. I've got a small car, so lucky for me, I'm able to kind of fit in where I can fit in. So, but we are door dashing right now. We're picking up another order from North Italia, and what do I tell you guys? Flower Child, literally any cake restaurant pays. So if you see like that Cheesecake Factory order, man. All right, so it says I can't park here, but I'm gonna park here because I much prefer to park in places where it explicitly tells me not to park there. It says this area is reserved. Awesome. That means that I know that no one's gonna park here and fuck with me. Cool. Ooh, towing enforced, even better. Who the fuck is who's gonna come tow me? Nobody. Who's gonna navigate Austin traffic to come tow me? Literally no one. All right, so we're gonna go pick up this order, and I will be taking the stick with me, so you can kind of get a nice little view of Austin. But we're gonna pick up this conversation back where I left off, talking about rich, wealthy individuals with a net worth of between 5.5 million and 15 million. All right, so let's do it. Oh, and we got another order, and it just pays, and it literally just pays. So we're gonna go ahead and take that one too. Hopefully it's ready by the time we get inside. So now we have 2 North Italia orders. I love it. I love it. Let's get it. So we're here in downtown Austin. Nice place to be. Great place to be if you can catch these promotions during like evening hours when traffic isn't too chaotic, but there's still a lot of economic activity happening. You can afford to be out here. I'm sure it's a real nice time. Got Flower Child right here. See all those orders in the window. Got hella people coming to pick those up. Picked up these nice 2 orders. I'm super excited to go deliver these. Let's get it. All right, so kind of jumping back into what we were talking about. Yeah, so individuals or families with a net worth of about 5.5 million to 15 million. Yeah, you will do all right. Just a lot of, holy shit, this person is crazy. Me too, I like it. Yeah, so a lot of the stuff that you have to upkeep and manage is probably just gonna balloon in price. Hopefully you've been picking the right class of investments over the last several years, because that will ultimately be your safety net to protect yourself from against a lot of those issues. But you will probably have to liquidate some positions at some point just to be able to kind of maintain this, that, or the third. But if you're good at rolling debt, then you should be fine. If you can just keep rolling any debt that you have over and over and just let the fucking debt to net asset value keep doing its magic, as long as you're able to keep borrowing against assets that are appreciating faster than the amount of debt that you owe, you could just go into the debt loop and pretty much be fine infinitely and just never have to pay off the debt. That is probably a winning strategy if you haven't already employed that. But you know, you're definitely gonna get hit. The biggest thing that's gonna hit you is just going to be inflation. So just expect a lot of things to get a lot more expensive. the purchasing power of those millions that you have will decay rapidly. So you might have to play a bit more aggressively with your investment decisions and start also running some serious opportunity costs on what you want to do. But you know, your lifestyle overall should be protected. It's just that it might be a little bit more effort to do so than how it was previously. All right, on to the next. So we just spoke about the wealthy, you know, people that have an upwards, we'll call them the millionaires. We will call them the millionaires. Let's zoom back down to, let's say you've got between a net worth of $750,000 up to $5.5 million. Yeah, this is where it actually starts getting really interesting. So you're not at all exempt from any of the issues. Your biggest issue will be inflation. So the amount of money that you have saved over the last few years, either from work or from entrepreneurship or from this, that, and the third, it's not really gonna do as much as you thought it was going to do. So if you haven't already retired, then your retirement is probably gonna get maybe pushed back a bit, or you might have to start making some sacrifices in terms of lifestyle, because ultimately, yeah, inflation is really gonna hit you hard, and if you haven't been making investments, you might start having some issues maintaining the lifestyle that you want, and you might have to start playing a bit more defensively or more aggressively looking into making investments into assets. So at this point, you know, if you're not like if you're not like a huge owner of like multiple different streams of income that can be scaled at leisure, then you will start having to balance out inflation. If you do run a business, expect your labor force to become more expensive and less effective. So if you run like a couple chains of restaurants, you know, if you've got like some storefronts that are generating capital along some rental properties, all of your storefronts are going to massively balloon in costs. So think property taxes, think rent, think just the general upkeep for the places that you operate out of, and any of the products that you sell or profit off of, expect those to become less profitable and more expensive to source. Pretty much that. If you don't get defensive and start really positioning yourself to not be so negatively impacted in this economy, then you will probably lose your millionaire status. It's going to be very, very hard for you to upkeep that high class lifestyle, because all it will really take is just maybe one or two financial decisions that are crappy to set you back or cause a bankruptcy in one of your businesses. So this is really the time that you want to lock in with your accountant and really start planning for a different future than you might have imagined. Don't really need to touch on too much of that. I'm pretty sure that's not what a lot of people have come to this video to hear. So we'll just go ahead and move on to the next one. So now we're going to be talking about the upper middle class. So people with a net worth, or families, households with a net worth between $250,000 to, let's say, like $500,000 and $750,000. Long story short is you're pretty cooked. You are pretty cooked. At this point, inflation is your worst nightmare, and currency debasement is also your worst nightmare. Unless you're able to have access to multiple lines of credit and have stellar, you need your investments need to be working in full fucking overdrive right now. You really need to be positioning yourself for the worst. Like, this is basically the apocalypse for you, because everything that you've worked for your entire life is basically up in the air right now. I hope that you are aware of the climate that we are in right now, because being aware puts you in a much better position than someone who is clueless. everything is about to become a lot more expensive for you, and you will actually be the main target for the issues that we're going to have in our economy. So expect to be on the front lines. Expect to be on the front lines for a while. I would say for the next several years, expect to be fighting for everything that you have just to maintain it. Your lifestyle, your household, your family, all of those things are going to become insanely more expensive for you to manage. So yeah, you might want to join me on the Fiat Farm train. You might want to go ahead and reopen a business. You might want to see what types of access of credit that you have, what types of leverage positions that you can put yourself into that will give you access to capital that can be deployed into either business ventures or investments. You need to get on top of your shit ASAP. Otherwise, you will no longer be upper middle class. You will be within range of becoming broke a lot faster than you think. All it really takes for you is just one bad financial decision to really put everything that you have at risk. So if you're a family, if you have like kids, if you're a homeowner, you really need to start playing defensive, and you really need to start looking at everything that you are spending. Budgeting is going to become a must for you, and keeping track of all money in and all money out is going to be basically your day-to-day lifestyle going forward. You need to ensure that every bit of money coming in is properly allocated and not overspent. So groceries are going to become a nightmare for you. Property taxes are going to become a nightmare for you. Homeowners association fees are going to become a nightmare for you. Anything that goes along with owning a home is going to become a nightmare for you. So think home repairs, think fucking plumbing issues, HVAC issues. Upkeep is a lot of your expenses are going to go straight to upkeep, especially family expenses as well. So think health insurance premiums, car insurance premiums, cost of living is going to go up exponentially for you as well, and the cost of raising a child is also going to become exponentially more expensive for you. So in general, just expect to be spending a lot more to be getting a lot less of what you're used to. Now, if you can position yourself accordingly, and you know how to use coupons, you know how to take advantage of deals, you know how to work promotions, or really get the people who service your needs to give you discounts and deals, those are going to be your saving graces. And for you also need to be making extremely aggressive and defensive investment decisions. So yeah, you really want to start playing very defensive. I can't really tell you. Well, we'll obviously touch on what I think will be a great investment decision here shortly, but that's not what I'm going to get into right now. But just to say the least, you definitely need to start finding ways to maximize what the current money you have right now is doing for you. You basically need to put the money that you have right now on overdrive and have it work full time for you. Do not get comfortable, do not get complacent, because you are absolutely the most likely to suffer from our current economic climate. Now, if you're a smart person, if you're savvy in tech, and you are an up and coming entrepreneur, then it might be a completely different story for you. But we just got to our first delivery, so we're gonna go ahead and drop off this order. All right, as you can see, it's getting darker and darker. A little bit harder to see me, so I'll go ahead and wrap this up. So yeah, speaking on the middle class again, your homeowners, your small business owners, your households, people that have gotten to the American dream. You know, you're on the front lines. You absolutely have the most to lose. These next couple of years are going to be especially harder on you, because you're also going to have to find ways to increase your income but decrease your expenses simultaneously, while fighting off currency debasement and inflation simultaneously. Do not lose your job, and try to stick to healthy debt if you must touch debt at all. Healthy debt. Avoid high interest loans or credit cards. You might, if an emergency arises, you're better off doing something like a home equity loan or a loan against a particular asset that has a good amount of value to it. But try to stay away from those credit cards. Try to stay away from personal loans. If you have student debt, try to get ahead of that while you can, if you're still fighting that right now. And then, yeah, I think we've talked a bit about the middle class. Good enough, I'd say. Let's go ahead and jump into the main bit, which I'm sure most people actually care about. So we're going to be talking about the very bottom of the barrel. And this is a very, very widely encompassing echelon, you know, because it's pretty much everybody. If you do not have at least $200,000 to your name or in assets, particularly liquid assets, then this is for you. Think about people that have a net worth of less than, I would say like less than 50,000, from 0 to 50,000. So if you have $0 in your bank account, or everything that you own is basically about worth $50,000. Now this is just pretty much, this is America right here. This is literally like 90% of everybody who lives in America. So think blue collar workers, 9-to-5ers, students, the unemployed, homeless, stay-at-home moms, people with a pulse, and I guess you could say like pensioners, or people who are like living on like a very, very fixed income. You're cooked. The short, like, if I were just long story short it, you're cooked. The younger you are, the worse it is for you, because the longer you're gonna have to live through it, but you also have a better potential to weather the storm. So I would say, like, if you are just getting into the economy and trying to like start off and make your way and kind of like make your way in life, starting from like basically scratch or zero, you're cooked. I'm sorry. This is the worst time to be trying to really start anything right now. So think dual income households, think particularly college students or people freshly coming out of college, or like people who are in their early 20s to 30s who are just starting to learn how to be independent or figure out life, or are just like, you know, in a bad spot overall. So what is your biggest enemy if you are in this echelon? And it's going to be employment. It's going to be unemployment issues and employment issues and whatever income that you have not being able to keep up with your living expenses. You think if you are financing DoorDash or you have a Klarna account, this is you right here. This is you. You're cooked. That is short. You are so fucking cooked. I'm telling you this not to scare you, but I'm telling you this so that you will know why things are happening the way that they are happening in your life, and why things are going to unfold a certain way in your life. Cooked, braised, simmered, fried, deep fried. You will, yeah, like you're gonna need like 5 people just to be able to afford a car. Like for the days of you getting a roommate to be able to afford rent are now over. you're gonna need a car mate. You're gonna be the dude who's on the lease with another dude. Like, you're literally gonna be, it's gonna take like 2 or 3 people to finance one car. So, and as far as an apartment goes, you're gonna need like 2 to 3 people to hold down like a 1 or 2 bedroom. You might find yourself living with your ex. You might find yourself living in a place that you really don't want to live in. You might find yourself jumping around from living place to living place. You might find yourself staying with your parents indefinitely just because the most basic living expenses that you have are next to impossible to cover in any case. So, I mean, yeah, it's pretty fucking, yeah, it's pretty fucking bleak. I don't really got too much, I really don't have too many positive things to say about people who are in this echelon. The short and simple of it is you're basically fucked. The money that you make has no value, and everything is going to become ridiculously more expensive to the point where you will basically need a monthly income, a daily income, a dividend, and a stipend, and a healthy line of credit just to be able to afford breakfast and cover your phone bill. So the money that you make is worthless. If you're making anything less than $2,000 a week, it's not really gonna do too much for you. You might find yourself able to scrape by. If you are scraping by right now, here's the best way I can put it. If you think that, if you feel that over the last 2 or 3 years that things have become incredibly difficult and have put you in a position to where you need to budget to an unrealistic amount and have to make sacrifices that just seem just so horrible and unrealistic that you would actually have to make these sacrifices just to get by. If you find yourself having to like do 3 different side gigs, work a full-time job, start like an entrepreneurial side hustle, and then do like content creation, and then like pretty much leverage everything to the maximum just to be able to like pay rent on the same month that it's due, congratulations, you have passed the tutorial phase. The real game starts now. Everything that you've gone through right now, it was basically nothing. It was basically nothing. That was like the base, that was like the welcome tutorial for what is to come. Like you haven't even started yet. You literally haven't even started yet. So yeah, just expect to own nothing, and yeah, expect to own nothing and be extremely unhappy. And yeah, pretty much. You have the potential to make things work out for you. It isn't completely bleak, but the tools and strategies that used to work to sustain yourself are no longer going to be viable. The things that used to promise you like security no longer exist. You will basically need to work every hour of the day and sleep between 5 and 6 hours a day. Forget eating out, forget going out, forget going to the club. Basically sacrifice everything to get nothing. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. You're not going to be able to afford groceries. You can forget going to the grocery store to buy groceries. You might as well have to pick up a part-time job just to get groceries. Your living expenses are going to be ridiculous. Like, you will be paying what your parents were paying to support their lifestyle just for you very, very soon. So if you want my advice, you need to really understand what your living expenses are and what are the most essentials out of that, and then start kind of deciding what gets paid and what doesn't get paid. And you need to be on top of literally everything and running opportunity costs on those things as well. So prepare to start running opportunity costs on hamburgers. Literally every dollar that you spend is just like another is like a gunshot wound, to be honest, because not only are you in a situation where the money that you're making is slowly becoming worthless, you're also in a situation where inflation is making everything super expensive to where you're actually not even getting what you were paying for, which is also causing you to get less at a lower quality. And then on top of that, you're also in the middle of one of the worst job markets in history. So getting a job is basically, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be very difficult to get a job, and it's gonna be even more difficult to get a job that will pay you enough to survive. Realistically, you will need 2 to 3 jobs that all pay very decently well just to survive. Yes, and that's the sum of it. Now, what are your biggest enemies? Your biggest enemy is going to be debt. Try to avoid debt like the fucking plague. Doesn't matter what it is, just avoid it. If you can't buy it with cash, then just don't buy it. If you can't buy it with cash, don't buy it. If you can't afford it, you're not meant to afford it, just don't buy it. You find an alternative, do something other than spend money. You need to be like a fucking squirrel shoveling pennies into a jar. That's basically where you're at right now. Now, what are things that will work for you? Actually, I know I said that I really have nothing for this echelon, but compared to the middle class, you know, you're actually in a relatively decent spot in terms of the opportunity to put yourself in a much better position. Because when you stop and think about it, when you're at the very bottom, you really have nothing to lose. Like, I'm not gonna say that like things are even close to being decent or okay from you, but it's like, to a certain extent, it's really not gonna be able to get much worse, you know? I mean, sure, you know, living, like, the cost of renting and like the cost of having a place to live is gonna be absolutely ridiculous. So you will struggle to maintain whatever living abode that you have, but you really don't have too much to lose because you've pretty much already lost everything. Like, you literally have lost everything. So you're actually in a position to where you have nothing but upside. Like, your downside is so limited that you can't really fuck it up. I mean, you can fuck it up, but you have infinitely more to gain than you do to lose because you basically have nothing. So, like, as far as the millionaires go, if they want to turn $1 million into $2 million, they're gonna have to really put in some fucking effort. But since you literally have nothing, if you have like $100 in your bank account, bro, it's like if you make $1,000, you basically 10 times your wealth. So you have nothing but upside, you have nothing but to gain, and you're also in an age where AI and new emerging technologies are hitting the market faster than the upper class can actually adopt them. So if you can just front run the new technologies and do things that normally would never work for anybody and just start doing them, you've got nothing but upside, man. Now I've got to get to this little order and we will finish talking about that. Thank you for this order. Yeah, so just dropped off this order. And that looks like a decent order, but yeah, I'm not gonna take it. It doesn't really match my criteria because it's $10 for 15 miles, but I just made $16 for driving like 8 miles, you know? So I have to get paid at least $1 per mile minimum because I have to account for the return trip, you know? Because if I drive 15 miles somewhere, and that obviously means I have to drive at least 15 miles to get back to where I started, you know? So that's like a 30-mile drive. And if I have like a car that gets like 25 miles per gallon, well then I'm wasting a whole, I'm basically taking like, I'm basically making like $7 off the order and spending like an hour to do it, which puts me in a position to where I'm only making like $7 an hour, which isn't gonna happen because I just made like 16 and like, I'm about to get out of here. You can always tell once the promotions run out because the orders just start becoming like really crappy. So we're gonna have to get out of downtown Austin. But so getting back to what I was talking about, yeah, it's because you have so you have so little to lose and everything to gain that you can actually create a very, very positive outcome for yourself if you are willing to take the necessary steps and make the sacrifices that are required, you know? Because you have nothing and your downside is so limited, sure, any bad decision that you make will and can ruin your life, but it's like, even if it does, man, it's like, fuck, like you're gonna go from being like homeless, broke, and unemployed to being like homeless, broke, unemployed, and hungry. It's like you really don't have too much to lose, but anything that you gain is basically like a double up. It's like a triple up. So it's like, even if you just start making enough money to be able to pay for like one of your living expenses, it's like an accomplishment. You might as well be like Neil Armstrong on the moon. You're basically doing the impossible. So my recommendation for you is to find asymmetric opportunities as fast as you can and start leveraging those to the max. So think content creation, think drop shipping, think emerging sales roles, think opportunities in AI and opportunities in the blockchain. You really want to start getting creative, because your creativity will ultimately be your upside. You're also pretty young, so any contribution, okay, hopefully you're young, hopefully you're not like 30 or 40 in the same situation that a kid just starting college is in. If that's the case, then you are cooked. I will have some advice for you at the end of this video, but can't really do too much with that one, you know? All right, well, nice lady just wanted to walk in front of downtown Austin traffic with a green light in the middle of the night, but we stopped for her because we cherish human life and we don't want anybody. Fuck. Oh, that's why I love this coupe. Yes, sir. I love when you get into a situation where you're like trapped between a giant truck and like another truck, but you can just like fucking like Tokyo drift that shit and like literally like hit like some MF Ghost level of evasion. Like, bro, it's just so fucking satisfying. Like, I should have gotten into a wreck right there, because this dude just decided to do like literally like the dumbest stunt I've ever seen with a fucking 18-wheeler. But because I'm in FaZe Clan, I just 360 like, okay, getting back to my point, Jesus Christ. These trucks, man, I swear to God. Getting back to my point is that you have the opportunity to make use of things that did not exist years ago that are here today that can basically give you ridiculous upside. So even though you're cooked, because your downside is so limited and you have such a potential to maximum upside, like just ridiculous upside, that if you play it right, you can actually put yourself in a better position than most of these upper class people who already have locked themselves into guaranteed high living expenses. Because, you know, you don't have a house, you don't really have any like properties that require an insane amount of investment, you don't own a business where you have to pay employees to do stuff for you. Hopefully you haven't been going into like ridiculous amounts of debt to like finance your lifestyle. Even if you did, it shouldn't be anything more than like 30 or 40K. Your biggest killer is going to be student debt. If you took on any student loans, that's going to be your biggest enemy going forward. But because that you're so young and you have access to all this information and technology, you can leverage it. Now that we've talked about what you can do, you know, drop shipping, fucking exploring financial instruments, you know, content creation, you know, AI is going to be your best friend. I'm telling you, people don't like it, but if you're able to use AI right now when it's still in its infancy, then you will be able to maximize it once we start getting into the actual real world of AI. Because most of the jobs that people have grown accustomed to will get replaced by AI. So if you can learn how to use that AI now, once it really takes off, you won't have to be worried about how AI is going to replace your job, because you're able to make AI work for you. Alright, so getting to the end of this video. Woad, I didn't just come on this fucking video to be tormented with the cruel reality of living in America in today's economic climate. What the fuck do I do? Okay, well, if you stayed this long for this video, I'm just going to give you the upside. Here's the potential upside for pretty much everything. The government no longer fucks with the US dollar, they don't care about our debt, and they don't care about the people who've been buying bonds and treasuries their entire life. Wall Street and the government is moving on to the blockchain. Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to go parabolic. So, the sooner that you can understand that and get that through your head, you will realize that there is 0 point to be holding US dollars when the upside to crypto hasn't even started yet. People who are just getting into investing right now, like buying stocks, buying ETFs, yeah, they're gonna be protected, and they will make a lot of money going forward. But those are legacy financial instruments. Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Meta, Nvidia, those sectors have been in development for decades. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the QQQ, all of those equities have been around forever. If you go and look at their charts, sure, they look great, but you gotta understand, they started back in like fucking I don't know when. A lot of these companies have been around longer than I've been alive. So the people that are really benefiting from their growth are the people that started investing in them basically at the bottom. Now that's how crypto is right now. That's how Ethereum is right now. You're basically getting access to the next generation of financial instruments before they even hit the main market yet. The prices that you're seeing today for cryptocurrencies will be the lowest they've ever been. They haven't even started yet. So if you can dump your worthless dollars that you're getting that are already being debased and inflated and just swap them over for digital currencies, then not only are you holding an asset, but you're also holding a currency that has just insane upside. Because they're literally telling you, if you go and watch the people on Wall Street, they're telling you that they're putting Wall Street on the blockchain. They're putting Wall Street on Ethereum. Now, what does that mean? It basically means that all the money that all these rich people know, like, and love are going into those assets that I just mentioned. Bitcoin, Ethereum, various forms of blockchain technology. US Treasury bonds are getting swapped out for stable coins, USDC, USDT. They are giving you the playbook for what's to come. Now, who does that benefit? Early investors, institutions, people who run ETFs, people who manage and build on the blockchain will basically just get parabolic upside. Who stands to lose from that? Anyone holding treasuries, anyone holding government bonds, government debt, and especially people who are holding traditional US dollars. Now that you know this, that's all I really had for you. I just wanted to come on and talk about that. I'm going to keep fiat farming. So anybody who is unsure of what they should be doing right now, you really should be getting fiat. You should be making money. You should be making money so you can dump that money for assets that are going to guarantee to put you in a better position. Because even if you have $1,000, or even less than that, if you're able to get 100x on that money, at some point you're going to be doing better than the richest people in the world right now. So again, I'm going to say this: if you want power and influence and the ability to shape the future of the world to come for the coming ages, buy Bitcoin. If you just want to be stupid rich, like literally filthy fucking rich, and just have infinite money forever, buy Ethereum. If you don't care about anything and you just want laws and you're willing to basically just meme your way through life, buy Solana. You can have a decent exposure to all of those, but one thing I really will put on your radar is that your bank account is taking your money out 10 to 1 and giving it to other people with an insane amount of interest. The money that you make and that you give to your bank, they are taking it from you out of your account and giving it to other people, giving it to rich people, giving it to businesses at a premium and with interest, and they're not even like, I think they're charging you to do it. Like, the amount of interest that you're getting from it is so low that you might as well be paying to be finessed. Now, even with like, bro, even if you just go buy USDC, like it's literally US dollar coin by Circle on Coinbase, they will give you 6 or 7% just from holding that. No bank is gonna give you that. No bank is gonna give you 6 or 7% annually just for holding USD. So that's my point. I'm not here to tell people what to do. This is just a little video about me talking about the topics that I want to talk about. This is not financial advice. I was studying to be a financial advisor, but then I realized it did not make any sense for me to go into debt so I could tell other people what to do with their money. So I didn't become a financial advisor. I became an entrepreneur. So that's it. Thank you for thank you for your attention to this matter, headass. All right, and once again, tap in with Pelagos Labs. I am Pelagos. I am the Sovereign. Get at me at Wode's Apothecary on Instagram. We will be having some absolutely phenomenal products for people that do want to be involved in the blockchain. So we make high quality products for Bitcoiners. We make high quality products for people that participate in the blockchain, and we intend to keep our prices as low as possible while providing unparalleled quality and unparalleled access to things that most people will probably never get to try in their entire life. So go ahead and tap in with me on there. We'll be coming to Twitch soon, and if you like this video, go ahead and drop a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell to get those notifications, and consider joining the community at Pelagos. We really appreciate it. More videos to come.